Halifax watershed has been spared a lot of the problems of the St. John's watershed because its history is relatively short. This was not an appealing area until the 1880s. While noted by the Spanish and the British, the difficulties of traveling to the so-called Mosquito Coast, which pretty much describes the area to a T, and the mid-18th century Seminole Wars, which made living here somewhat dangerous. In fact, many settlements were just wiped out in the 1830s. Settlements have been rather sparse for reasons of this sort. There were some early attempts at sugar plantations, and live oak logging continued through the century. Live oak was a valuable commodity, and the live oak would be shipped out of the Mosquito Inlet, as it was called in those days, up to northern ports. So that was the major activity here all the way past the Civil War.
The concepts of sustainability and resilience are finally coming to the forefront of the public. And certainly within the Halifax River Urban Watershed, these two concepts are very important to the quality of life for people that happen to be here. And you can look at these two concepts both from ecological points of view and from social points of view. Ecologically, of course, we have the quality of our water supply and of our air, the river itself, and the coastlines. These things are very important to all of our food production, to a lot of our recreation, and certainly to those people who come to visit.
So we started working in the Halifax about 2.5 years ago, right after we had Hurricane Irma come through. We started doing a monthly sampling of zooplankton from a fixed location at Oak Ridge Causeway, which is right in the Daytona Beach area. And so the students would go out, collect plankton with a giant plankton net, bring it back to the lab, preserve it, and then we would basically count and identify all of these different species of zooplankton and track what the populations were doing over time. Because the Halifax is such an area of understudied water, it was really important for us to be able to look at what was going on with the water quality and how that related to these lower trophic levels or the zooplankton. And from there, we're also basically downloading data from St. John's River Water Management District and some of the different agencies that collect water quality throughout the whole Halifax. And we've been involved in this basically 4-year data set, trying to figure out what are the different spatial and temporal patterns going on with water quality in the Halifax River.
In terms of research, it's not like other estuaries. It is long, the linear estuary, and which is surrounded by highly developed urban area, so which receives a lot of urban runoff, and we do not have extensive natural habitat around the river. But that is the characteristic and the value of this Halifax.
The idea is to have a group of robots that is going to help us to take samples from the river and monitor different characteristics and different parameters into the river, like salinity, oxygen, chlorophyll, and they are going to help us to understand more the behavior of the river to prevent some kind of events like algae blooms, killfish, and the idea is to use the robot to take care of the river.
You can just look at land use within a watershed, and you can use just the land use, not even taking any kind of water quality measures, and you can make pretty good predictions as to what the water quality is going to be just based upon land use itself. And so kind of understanding that, and then from there, then again looking at stormwater mapping. Oftentimes I do that within my landscape ecology class. We go out, we find stormwater, we find old infrastructure that's not well mapped, and we actually map that.
The
because people also inhabit this area, that's where we came in as College of Health Sciences to collaborate, because we wanted to shed some light on the human population along that watershed. And so that's what we are looking at, is the health profile.
So in this context, I'm able to use my expertise in bioinformatics as well as microbiology to connect to other specialists in the area, other experts, so that we can have a transdisciplinary solutions to the concerns that we have about the Halifax River Watershed.
In order to study this river and the watershed, we really need to understand the community and the human social factors and even other factors, other things that economic and even arts and cultural things, in order to understand this entire ecosystem and watershed.
On the social side, we have the need for services that are provided both locally and from a distance. We have the economic system that, of course, we would wish to maintain in order to provide jobs for people and means for survival. And we also have the general aesthetics of the area, that relatively clean roads and nice buildings and things like that, which simply make people enjoy living here and working here.
I'm rather convinced that across the spectrum of various environmental issues, restorative justice offers an effective pathway for dealing with environmental conflicts of one kind or another. And while restorative justice has a great many applications outside of environmental ethics, it's also true that environmental issues impact a wide range of social harms.
I'm really excited about the revitalization of the downtown area. I don't know why it hasn't been renovated so far. I know a lot of people have tried. A lot of effort has been put into it. So I'm excited that Dr. Cho and the other faculty members here, as well as faculty at other universities and community groups, are kind of coming together.
And we want to be a thrust of what I deem to be important, something called sustainability, in terms of investing in young people, increasing awareness about our environment, safety, economic empowerment, hope. We're in a beautiful city, but if you drive down 2nd Avenue, it seems as if we are economically depressed. And so I am enthused and encouraged and inspired to do something about that. And so I've been making notes, trying to develop relationships with the businesses here. About not even 5 minutes away, you'll see a gas station or a tire shop by the name of Mr. Johnny Pride. He's one of the members here, and he's been a staple in this community. Directly across from Mr. Pride, you'll see some Singleton dry cleaners. When I was a student, we used to get our clothing cleaned right there. Unfortunately, that business is closed, and a number of stores, barbershops. We used to have an outstanding barbecue stand here on 2nd Avenue when I was a student. All of that's now phased out.
If it wasn't for tradition, those bikers would not come here every year to this deprived, abandoned building area. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing there for them here. And what do we do here? We bring in vendors from all over the place to fill up the area for that week or 2 weeks, right? To entertain these bikers in the area. But when they leave, there's nothing. It's a desolate area. And I came to this area to be a part of it coming back to its former glory. I see it, right? I see it being something that's necessary for the environment. It really is necessary. And I understand that it's important to keep our waterways and everything straight because of the pollution, the harm, our health. I mean, we have no idea how just being outside could cause us issues later on in life. I mean, it's something that has to be done.
We're working with our new president, Dr. Cripe, and he has already looked at that area and has talked about just the opportunities that we have there. And so we're going to be working on several different projects to include, this business incubator that I mentioned earlier. Maybe there is some mixed-use development that we could do for residential and commercial in that area as well. Also bringing on board the folks from the city of Daytona Beach, Volusia County. We, through our public affairs department, we're going to look at what state resources, what federal resources are available that we can bring to this area to really start some investment. The Midtown area just seems to be, for some reason, the island that no one has touched. So if we can find ways to reinvest in this area, clearly Bethune-Cookman University is the centerpiece of Midtown, but to build around it and do some things that would be more student-friendly, that will foster economic development for the community. It really, to me, is just an untapped jewel that we need to figure out how can we take this area and bring it back, not just even to its former luster, but let's dream big, see what we can do with it in the future. There's a lot of potential there.
Well, my dream for the Midtown area, and I'm sure Bethune-Cookman University will be in the pack of leading this community and helping develop this community. But I'm looking that we will have more entrepreneurs that exist, I would say people of color, that exist, that they have their own businesses in this community and grow this community, and the community becomes itself its own making and dealing with all the issues and problems that we see that exist now.
We have to educate our students that are coming on to the campus, freshmen and sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We have to educate them to the programs that we're offering at food services, programs that we offer on the facility side, and just the general knowledge of, putting trash, placing trash in the proper containers that we have on campus.
Yes. Dr. Choi, last summer we seen a distinct need for trash cans on this campus, and Sodexo sponsored and donated all the black cans that you see throughout the campus. There was over 50 of the 30-gallon trash cans with the lids and the push-in sides on it for the students to dispose of their trash. So we put an extra 50 out last summer. So there's a spot for them to put their trash.
For this area to thrive and be vibrant again, it's going to have to be pleasantly appealing. I'm thinking that we need murals. We have so much history in Daytona that we can implement into the murals. We have Howard Thurman, we have Mary McLeod Bethune, we have Yvonne Scarlett Golden, we have Jackie Robinson, we have Vince Carter. We have many people that can be displayed on these buildings to bring people into a walking pedestrian entertainment venue. So I'm thinking if we could have Dr. Cho and I are in agreement on a lot of things as far as bringing little cafes, bringing in little jazz spots, little lounges, food, making a foodie. There's a couple that's coming to town that's doing some type of restaurant that they're hoping to bring some entertainment and some foodie type things here. So I'm thinking that if we can make it family friendly, entertaining, historical, it will become one of the tourist venues in the city. So why not do it when the history is here to do it?
Hospitality tourism is so big in this area, and we have a lot of temporary population growth spurs. I think the impact to the river in terms of waste and the usage of resources is one that cannot be ignored.
In fact, this initiative really gives everybody, and us in particular, an opportunity to put Bethune-Cookman University on the map in terms of sustainability and other aspects I just mentioned, hospitality and tourism development as a contribution to society through a major university in town.
When you talk to someone about sustainability, someone in the general public, often what pops into their head is something like going out and keeping the fish happy or cleaning up the water or something like that. But there's a social side to sustainability also. And sometimes it's very difficult to communicate the relatively complex concepts underlying sustainability and its interdisciplinary interactions and the like to the general public.
I always say that the theater is to educate. I want to be able to utilize our students to help educate the masses about what this initiative can do, should do, what it's going to do for the community. One of the more immediate projects Dr. Joe and I was talking about is having a mural painted on our wall.
And I always told myself that I want to kind of give back to Cookman and stuff like that, something that could always be remembered and people could always visit around the world to do. And it always had to just be art related, always wanted to just be art related and stuff like that. And I feel like this is a great opportunity to do that.
And what I want that mural to say is, we can partner with other entities like the sciences and things of that nature to show that the purpose of the arts.
Arts truly is a part of the social fabric that allows for a really truly enriching lifestyle, a really truly enriched community, for community engagement, causing people to socially gather, causing people to really expose, experiment, and have the opportunity to live out some of those crazy things that take place in our heads. And that's kind of what the arts do. And in this project, I think is really essential to sort of the holisticness of the project.
Hi everyone, my name is Miranda White. I'm a senior right now and I'm an environmental science major here at Bethune-Cookman University. Right here, you're looking at our extended wet pond. Behind you is our Brinkers Pond. It's a diversion pond off of Reed Canal.
Hello, my name is Abraham DeSilvio. I'm a graduate student here at Bethune-Cookman. This is our treatment wetland.
Hello everyone, my name is Asim Gimere. I'm a senior here at Bethune-Cookman University. I'm majoring in computer engineering. For this summer, I'm working in EPA project for this Brinkers Pond. In this pond, we come here monthly to take the water quality sampling and how the vegetation are doing. in the pond.
Hi, my name is Manik Busal. I'm a sophomore here at Bethune-Cookman University. We're under this EPA project where we're sampling the water and vegetation of the Rinkers Pond.
Good morning, my name is Robert McKenzie. I'm a junior at the great Bethune-Cookman University. I'm a math major, and today I'm assisting in recording vegetative data for Rinkers Pond.
Right, and so we already have issues with flooding, we already have issues with water quality within this area that we can just assert, right? We know that they're happening. And then trying to figure out how to go in and find projects that we can kind of improve things and then look towards the future as to how we can actually stay here and live here, say, 80, 100 years from now. And those are huge challenges of anywhere in the coast of Florida. And so we're seeing within Florida, all over the news, pretty much any day, you watch the news, you see something about algae blooms, you see something about bacteria, flesh-eating bacteria, causing people to die after they go to the beach in certain areas of Florida. This is not good for tourism. It's clearly not good for ecosystems. And this is the cumulative impact of human activities. And figuring out how to solve those issues, and if we can't solve them completely, at least to kind of change the needle to where instead of going this way towards more collapse, to go this way towards cleaner ecosystems, healthier ecosystems. This is a huge, huge challenge.
So today here you will see the EPA Living Shoreline Project in the Integrated Environmental Science Department at Bethune-Cookman University. Some of the plants that you see right now, this is bakeri. It's just another fast-growing plant that has deep roots that seep into the sediment, hold it down, and decrease erosion along the coastal watershed in Halifax. Another thing that it does as well is infiltrate some of the nutrients coming in from the inland waters, such as pesticides, fertilizers, car oils, etc. Some litter that's flowed into the drains and into the Halifax River.
What some of the cities and the general public can do to help decrease their impact on the waterways. So with the Living Shorelines project, some native plants get planted and then around like the shoreline, around the edge of certain water bodies like a retention pond or in like people's backyards right before it drops off into the water. And the purpose of that is to uptake some nutrients and hold some of the soil and sediments that are potentially could go into the waterways.
So what these control sites are supposed to be simulating are a shorter amount of biomass that would be implemented into the system because of a constant mowing, a constant manipulation from humans. We're constantly mowing, and so most of the vegetation is being put out into the Halifax River. And so those nutrients that are coming from the inland waters, from pesticides, fertilizers, and car oils are all sequestered in this small vegetation, but then also put into the Halifax River. With the living shorelines, because they are taller, fast-growing, and deep-rooted into the sediment, they're sequestering these nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus and helping to maintain those nutrients on the terrestrial land. So this is an example of one of our residential sites here on the Mosquito Lagoon. As you can see here, some of our grasses that we planted, Spartina, and then also some mangroves that have been recruited from the Spartina. So this is a salt-tolerant plant that would help with some of the brackish conditions from the lagoon. And it also helps with the infiltration of nutrients coming in from the inland waters, like I've said before.
We're in Smyrna Beach. This is one of our control sites for the Living Shorelines project. This is something that residents can get involved with. As you can see, their control site, but they still managed to do some sort of living shorelines with their backyard. They implemented some oyster bags, which also helped with the shoreline restoration